Hey, it's Thursday and it's Dawn. Just dropping in to give you a few things or a few tips. I named this particular little tip, don't reinvent the wheel while you're reinventing the wheel. In other words, you don't have to use Zoom to capture your lecture. I think that's always the default when someone thinks about going online is to I've got to capture my lecture, what I have or what I interact with. But you don't really have to capture your lectures in this particular mode. There's other ways maybe to communicate that information. I think one of the best ways to capture to relay information or find ways to give people information is the library resources. Library has tremendous amount of resources. They actually have a COVID-19 section in the library now that'll tell you how to get connected to the resources, what's available to students, and kind of a streamlined thing to do that. They're keeping their chat open, so if you have questions, you can do their chat. The library is closed now, at least through April 4th, and things are changing minute by minute for that. But the librarians, I want you to know that they're still available to help you. There are also a lot of open education resources that are available, tremendous things that you can use. Somebody's already built them and they said you can use them, so use them, find them. I have a list that I'm starting in a Word, shareable online Word document, and I will put the link to that with the email, with the video as it goes out in our educational resources and in the CETLA web pages that we're doing. I think also it might be just time to get back to some basics. All the students are, for a lot of the classes, and the majority of the classes, I think students have a textbook, and a lot of the information you cover is in that textbook, and you expand on it and you do a lot of things with it. But I think one of the things that I think students sometimes don't do or don't know how to do, and I'm not sure what the combination of it is really know how to read an academic text or an academic article. And I think it might be time for us to kind of step back and say, hey, these are some reading strategies that you can use in order to do that. And there are a lot of them. You can talk to Mary and I, and we'll talk to you about them. You can talk to your colleagues about how maybe they're using them. But things like providing a reading guide for your students that sort of pull things out and point them out to them. Things like taking the titles of subtitles and turning them into questions and then trying to answer their questions. KWL charts, some other types of reading notes, note-taking things that they can do. I think this is a good excuse to re-emphasize academic reading, how important it is, and how to digest academic text. I know they're college students. I know that at this point they're supposed to know that, but we all need reminders sometimes. And when you're going from a verbal learning style of talking and lecturing and taking notes, that there might need to be some reminders on what they do need to know and to interact with the textbook. I would use things to highlight things in the text. So if they read the text, sometimes even the careful reader will miss maybe the main point that you want them to get out, or maybe there's something that's covered minorly in the text that you really need to expand on. And I would use discussion boards for that. In Blackboard, you can use discussion boards. Another strategy that you might use is a quiz, and a quiz that would just really draw out those particular points, like to pay attention to them, because if they have to answer a quiz question, then they're rereading it and reading it probably more carefully to do that. So use some of those things to call attention to the material. And then use CATs to make sure that classroom assessment techniques, a lot of those can move to online, and you can get a response from the student. So if you have them read a section, maybe you do a classroom assessment technique that would tell you to do it. Something that you can do to make it kind of fun is, tweet me tweet out what you learned in this particular one. So 240 characters or less, tell me what you learned during this reading. One of the major ones that pull out different points. You can also do some sort of creative things with the reading assignments too. You can have maybe have each student in charge of one section of the reading, and then maybe have them report back either through a discussion board or maybe through a PowerPoint, or maybe through even just like a picture. So you read this section and find a picture or an illustration of some kind that kind of sums up this, and then write about it, kind of a little bit of a little meme or something that they can do, and then a little bit of paragraph of text. So get creative. You can have them, depending on the type of reading, you can have them create a flow chart, a mind map. You can have them make a be in charge of a reading and make, you can call them trivia questions, but basically like test questions. So trivia questions for the students, for each other. What types of things. So we all read all the text, but this section, it's my section to write a trivia question. You can have them do some things like a Kahoot, or different resources that are available. So let's keep talking about this. I'm going to put up a list of resources that I've found. I'll keep updating them. Mary Smith has it. She'll keep updating them. You can update them. Feel free to put information in there. I know some of the major textbook companies like McGraw-Hill are opening up their library. So you might check with your textbook company to see if they're opening up some more materials, and if someone uses online resources that use the same textbook that you have, maybe they would be able to even point you to some of those. So work together on this. Mary and I are here to help you. We love to help you with stuff. We are going to have our Friday hours what we had planned to have. So we'll be in at 8 until noon on Friday. But next week, we are planning at this point to be, one of us to be in Setla from 9:30 until 7, Monday through Thursday, and then 9 to noon, or I'm sorry, I think we decided 9 to 1 on Friday. And that's the plan right now. As we know, in this time of uncertain times, it may not be there, but I hope you're all getting things online. And if you need things, let us know. Just make sure to take care of yourself, and remember, you don't have to do Zoom if you don't want to. There are other options to do. Zoom is a good tool if it works for you, but take care of yourself, and we'll talk again tomorrow.